Friends, once again welcome to the 93rd chapter of the Dragon Timer series. Friends, today's chapter is going to be very interesting, so let's start. There were 2 murders at the National Test Range Management Control Center. The perpetrator of those murders was an unknown woman who was from the Morgan family. She not only killed 2 employees, but also shut down the live broadcast. When he looked at the bodies of his employees, there was a mixture of deep anger in his eyes. And as more information came out in the investigation, it became clear that the killer was not caught in the surveillance footage, and the evidence of the live broadcast had also been destroyed. This raised a big question. Who did all this? Meanwhile, President Jin Jian's personal secretary asked him, "Shall we share this report with the media?" President Jin Jian's face turned red with anger when he heard this question. The president said angrily, "No, we will not let it go to the media. We will sort it out on our own, and getting rid of this mess is our priority." He fell into deep thought, his brows furrowed. There was a mixture of horror and resentment in his heart. This must have been done by the Morgan family. This day took another strange turn for Lu Fan. The number of puppets kept dwindling. This question kept bothering him. Lu Fan seriously thought over his plan and decided that he had to find out this mystery. He headed towards the National Testing Area volcano, where he hoped to find the answer. As soon as he entered the volcano area, a strange sight appeared before his eyes. There were burning volcanoes all around, whose flames seemed to hide some fear and conspiracy. There was a deep silence in the air, as if the volcano was about to spew something more than lava. This sight deepened Lu Fan's suspicions even more. He took a deep breath and said, "As expected, mutual hunting in the final stage of the competition can only speed up the process." Lu Fan opened his status window, and within seconds he realized that Yas Angi was just a short distance away, but this time there was something different. An unknown mission, hidden from his sight, was just around the corner. What was that mission? Lu Fan then ordered Xiao Jai, "Go ahead and meet this old friend first." As soon as Xiao Jai heard the order, he quickly picked up his pace and headed towards the location Lu Fan indicated. But Lu Fan just stood there and looked around. His eyes were searching for the mysteries hidden all around. He wondered, where is Yas Angi? As Lu Fan looked at Yas Angi, there was a slight anger and surprise in his eyes, but also a mysterious smile. He felt Yas Angi hiding in his path. Yas Angi saw that Lu Fan was walking towards him, and his happiness knew no bounds. There was a sense of peace and satisfaction in his heart. It's Lu Fan. He was very happy with himself, because he felt that Lu Fan had made a difference by leaving him alive. He thought to himself, "Big brother Lu Fan not only didn't kill me, but also encouraged me." Lu Fan looked at Yas Angi and walked towards her with a smile, saying, "Hey Yas Angi, you're really lucky to have survived this long." Yas Angi's face suddenly turned even greener. He smiled and said, "I thought someone would kill me, but thankfully I met Big Brother Lu Fan." This conversation was no ordinary thing. There was a deep feeling behind it, as if it wasn't just a fight, but the return of an old relationship. Lu Fan looked at his status window and then looked at Yas Angi and said, "Why are you ranked in the bottom 10th place with 1.5 million points? Why did you score so few points?" Lu Fan's eyes were fixed on Yas Angi, and he was closely observing her every move. Something wasn't right. Something was wrong. He felt confused. Yas Angi's carefree behavior and her happiness made him even more suspicious. The final stage of the competition was just a few steps away, and any carelessness would raise suspicions. Lu Fan looked deeply into Yas Angi's eyes and then said seriously, "You should understand that this is the final stage of the competition. No one can be friendly with you during this time." His voice was a clear warning, but the confusion within her was now even deeper. Everyone will want to kill you to earn your points. In this situation, if you don't trust anyone, it could put your life in danger. Lu Fan's words were more than just a warning to Yas Angi at this point. They were hints of a serious mystery. Was Yas Angi really in danger, or was it all just an illusion? Still confused, Lu Fan slowly unwound his bow. Every hint pointed to a deeper plan. Just then, a loud roar resounded. It was Xiao Jai, who was using his full power. Lu Fan moved his eyes away from Yas Angi and immediately used his perception power. This was a special skill he used to detect enemies hiding in the form of black dragons. He concentrated his inner energy and activated this unique skill. It took just a few seconds for the system to respond. The air around him began to stir and Lu Fan began to sense enemies hiding around him. As Lu Fan activated his perception power, suddenly, the ground beneath Yas Angi burst open and a bright, yellow light burst out, enveloping her. Lu Fan's vision widened. He knew that this was no ordinary situation. Something dark and dangerous was happening. A look of fear flashed across Yas Angi's face, and she panicked. The fear in her eyes was evident. In the next instant, a giant hand emerged from the ground, so huge and powerful that it grabbed Yas Angi in one stroke. This hand belonged to a yellow monster, an invisible, dangerous, and ancient monster that now had Yas Angi completely grasped in its claws. Its yellow color and huge size indicated that this was no ordinary monster. This dangerous power grabbed Yas Angi tightly in its hand and immediately lifted her up to put her in its mouth. Yas Angi screamed, but there was no one to help her. There was only fear in her eyes and panic running through her body. Now Lu Fan was completely alert. The yellow monster was not just a monster, but part of a much greater power. This monster appeared in Lu Fan's memories. It was the same yellow dragon that the Holy Mountain Slave had summoned, and its level had reached 62. Lu Fan remembered whose power this monster was. It was the same monster that Jin Chengen had summoned. Without wasting a moment, Lu Fan raised his bow. Using the power of the snake arrow, he shot a magical arrow without drawing the bow. Each arrow caused 100% damage. Yas Angi was screaming desperately. Her voice was full of application. "Save me! Save me!" But Lu Fan didn't say a single word. There was only a cold determination in his eyes. Miss Haxi and Jing Changhang watched all this silently, and the next moment, Yas Angi died. The status window read, "Yas Angi is dead." Lu Fan took a deep breath, but there was no regret in his eyes. Jing Changhang stood up arrogantly, a look of immense confidence on his face. He raised both his hands and began chanting. There was a slight teasing and mockery in his voice. "Yes, I accidentally stole your points," he said with a smile. "I hope you don't mind." He was saying this to Musiston, but the dangerous intent hidden in his eyes was clear. He then looked at Lu Fan, and there was a sense of excitement in his voice. "Your points will be ours soon after all." "Hey Lu Fan," he said, "now get ready to die." Lu Fan stood calmly, with his dragon beside him, who was fully prepared. There was a deep understanding in his eyes, and he replied, "It's been a long time since we met. You've all gotten a lot stronger. It seems like you're with the sacred mountain slave.